Hello, so yeah, I got my first strike on YouTube and I'm really confused by it. So for those of you that didn't see, basically I got a hate speech strike, which is generally for stuff like, racism or like I guess inciting violence against people, that sort of thing, on a video game video. One that didn't even have any commentary on it. I don't think there's actually any violence at all, not even simulated violence in the video. It was from Wargame Red Dragon, and if you don't know, that's an RTS game. Basically set in the Cold War, just about the end of the Cold War in Red Dragon, with sort of all of the major powers of the time as sort of playable nations. And it was a video regarding an Easter egg where basically some of the soldiers in the game are modelled on like famous soldiers from history or like ones from sort of memes and videos. Like there's a Finnish one I think that's like that Finnish meme of like the soldier of the funny face, like pulling a funny face, and there's also the one in the video I was showing was that there's a Serbian guy based on that face soldier in that accordion video. And apparently that was enough to get the video struck for hate speech. And what this clearly illustrates, I think, to me, is that there is a lot of problems with using algorithms to determine if, something violates a rule or not. And I think this is the exact same reason that I keep finding less and less World War II documentaries on YouTube when I try and look them up. Reason being that I'm assuming an algorithm is randomly just striking videos as like hate speech because there are literal Nazis in it, but the videos are in no way pro-Nazi. And I guess this is the problem where, an algorithm can't understand when something is a joke or serious, and an algorithm, also can't understand, when something is being presented as informative information rather than being like disinformation or stuff like that. And the more and more you rely on algorithms and not people to, like manage content, the more you're going to run into problems. And I was looking this up, and a lot of similar people have apparently had problems with other video games. And this seems to be especially common in World War II video games, right? So games that are perfectly legal to stream on Twitch and YouTube and all this, they shouldn't break any of the rules according to YouTube. Worst case scenario, it might be like, you have to be 18 to view this video, but that would be it. And because people have got like, playing games with like German soldiers in German tanks or whatever in World War II, it's literally doing a hate speech thing where it's somehow thinking that the person, who made the video is like spouting pro-Nazi nonsense or whatever because an algorithm doesn't determine it. Now, in theory, you should be able to appeal strikes, and the idea is that after a while a person looks at it and the person should know better. But from what I understand, that system really doesn't work. The idea is basically it just sits in limbo for ages. Now, good news is, because this is my first strike, and it's what they now call like a warning strike rather than actually being a proper strike, I think it said something like, as long as I don't get any more strikes for 3 months, nothing happens to my channel because of it. But if so, it means like I can't stream for a bit, or it's potentially a loss of a massive source of income for me, all over a robot not being able to determine what's real or not. So I said to a few people, I'm not going to be doing any video game streams, I don't think, at all on YouTube now. Sorry, I wanted to do them for some games, but I can't risk it now, in case the algorithm randomly looks at a game and doesn't understand it's a game and not real world violence or something like that, because I just don't trust it regarding that. Weapon Collector had a similar thing a year or two ago, which actually did eventually get reversed for him. Don't know if they'd reverse this thing for me, but and it was literally because he did a video on a Colt single action army revolver, and the initials for that apparently is the same name as a certain army in the world, and that army was, like YouTubers clamping down on videos of it at the time. And again, there certainly wasn't a pro video on that, but the algorithm thought that the initials, because it didn't understand any context for a replica revolver, was the same thing as, an actual army. So it'd be a bit like having the initials SS for stainless steel. It doesn't mean you're in favour of the Schussstaffel, but it might see something like, SS kettle or SS oven and think it's something about, Nazi ovens or kettles or something. It's just that kind of logic. So there you go. That's my strike explained. That's the only thing I can think of why it is, because as I said, I wasn't speaking in the video. There was barely any gameplay. It was literally just showing, like the real life photo comparisons of some of the units and the thing, and with like when I did the guy had the music play, obviously just like 5 seconds of it, and apparently that 5 seconds is now enough to have it on one of those hate crime lists, I guess, where an algorithm determines what is and isn't. So there you go. I'm as baffled as anyone else. Like I said, hopefully this just eventually gets removed from my account or whatever, but yeah, it's bizarre. Like, out of all the videos where I could have got a strike for something, you'd think you might get a violence one for one, testing like a crossbow on like a body armor vest or whatever to see if it would protect you if you're wearing the vest. But no, literally a strike for hate speech on a video game video for a game that's I think like a 13 plus game on Steam, like the age requirement for it. Like there's not even any blood in it because it's like an RTS game. Units die in it, but they just sort of fall over. And yeah, that's hate speech apparently according to this bot. So well done.